Hey everybody, I'm JC from One Shot Adventures, and today I'm going to review the Dungeon Crawl Classics zero-level funnel adventure Hole in the Sky, an adventure that sends a lowly band of disillusioned commoners on a deadly rescue mission in a cosmic prison. Well, if that sounds insane, it is. Who sends zero-level characters on an extra-dimensional adventure? Well, Goodman Games does, and they do it, I'm pretty sure, with a grin. Now, if you're not familiar, a funnel adventure is one where each player gets 4 zero-level characters, and they're all sent into a blender of dangerous encounters. The survivors emerge the funnel as level 1 characters with a truly great origin story. Funnels are a unique part of character creation in the Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG, and they often feel very different from typical low-level adventures because they can be so dangerous and they can really feature creative setups. There are many great funnel adventures in Dungeon Crawl Classics, and Hole in the Sky is often mentioned as one of the best. But is it? Does it provide your players with a fun mix of dangers, an exotic setting that transcends the typical, and the gonzo weirdness that DCC players always expect? Well, you're going to find out all of that in my review today, along with my best tips on how to run this funnel like a pro. But before we leap into that hole in the sky together, I want to warn you that there are some serious spoilers ahead. So if you're thinking about playing in this adventure, go back to your lowly life as a gong farmer and tell your GM to check this video out instead. Here we go.
Hole in the sky! Abyss of the unknown!
Hole in the Sky is a short 16-page adventure that can be easily completed in just one session. It's written by Brendan LaSalle, one of the veteran authors of Dungeon Crawl Classics, and one who I think usually does a great job capturing the feel of unpredictable old-school adventures. Like I said at the top, the adventure is designed for a very large group of zero-level characters, so each player will have 4 of them, and by the end, well, they'll have less. The setup of the adventure is this. The PCs are all disillusioned commoners. They're unsatisfied by their lives, feeling like their true destinies have somehow been sabotaged. But what they all have in common is a dream about a mysterious lady in blue, a ghostly woman who promises that if they become her ally, she will help them take back the lives that were promised to them by the stars. She asks that all of them meet her atop a great cliff that overlooks the sea. The adventure has a lot of backstory on the Lady in Blue, but basically what you need to know is she's a mischievous demon. Think Loki wearing a blue dress. One who's taken this form to trick people into helping her win at some sort of cosmic politics. This doesn't really play into the adventure that much, but I like that the author gives us this backstory on this character so that GMs kind of have in their heads what her agenda is. So this ragtag bunch of angsty folks meet the Lady in Blue on the cliff, and she's quite the sight. She's 7 feet tall, she's beautiful, and she's holding aloft a bunch of severed heads that speak for her whenever she converses.
Hello, friends. Don't be disturbed by my severed heads. I have a great feast for you, and then a wonderful mission. Just trust me.
The Lady in Blue sets out a feast for the PCs, filled with tasty foods from all over the world, as well as some that are infested with maggots and rot. So right away, between the severed heads and the weird feast, the players are going to know they're probably over their heads. The Lady in Blue explains that she desperately needs the PC's help. For you see, at midnight, an invisible bridge will form over the ocean. And at the end of that bridge is a portal, a rip in the sky, that will take them to an interdimensional prison. And in that prison, which is guarded by a massive titan, is Dresa, one of the Lady in Blue's greatest allies. And if the PCs can rescue Dresa, the Lady in Blue will reward them with a spin on the Wheel of Destiny, a mountain-sized stone wheel that promises to change a man's destiny forever. The adventure doesn't really say why the Lady in Blue can't do the rescue mission herself, but it's easy enough to say that immortals like her are forbidden to enter that extra-dimensional prison. Before the PCs head off, they're given the opportunity to purchase some supplies at a local fishing village. And I advise you don't skip this part, since having some simple weapons and tools make this adventure a lot easier for the players. But make sure you limit the items that can be purchased here, or else your whole session can turn into like a shopping adventure. But I allow a few key items, simple things like spears, knives, and rope to be purchased at the fishing village. And rope, as you'll see later, will become the MVP of this entire adventure. As promised, at midnight, the invisible bridge appears and the PCs begin a very long 3-day journey walking over the ocean. There's a storm on the second day, which promises to blow some of the PCs off the bridge, but smart PCs will have rope and rope up together, making that much more difficult. On the third day, the PCs will see a slowly sinking ship below them, and it's swarming with sea shrikes, these nasty little rotten flesh-eating lizard birds. This combat won't be especially tough, they'll flee after a few are killed, but expect to lose a couple of PCs from these creatures. One change I like to make to the adventure is that I make the sinking ship explorable. As written, the ship really isn't described all that well. It's just kind of barely mentioned as being below the PCs. But every time I play this adventure, the players are very keen to use their rope and rope down to it. So I say that the ship actually crashed into the invisible bridge. Its mast splintered and its crew died fighting off the sea shrikes. And while most of the ship is flooded and inaccessible, some brave PCs can climb on down to it. And they can even bust open the captain's quarters and find a strange locker. Its latches are being held by a spiny octopus-like creature that can spit bright blue ink and freeze PCs to death. And inside the chest, I put a strange mummified head with colored nuggets as eyes. One's cursed, the other's blessed. And this interlude, which you can tell I'm obviously excited about, just gives the PCs a chance to take more risks while on the journey on the invisible bridge, in exchange for some rewards. And by the way, I've written up this bonus little scenario as a one-pager, along with some fun tokens and VTT assets for this adventure that you can download on my blog, oneshotadventures.com. Check it out if that sounds cool. On the final day of walking on the invisible bridge, the PCs will reach the hole in the sky, an energy portal that can let them leap through it into some strange dimension. They're surrounded by weird terrain, a bamboo-like forest, and in the distance a massive 300-foot monolith that resembles a spiny seed pod. I like that the look of this prison is going to surprise your players. They'll be expecting some classic monolithic stone prison, but it's not. It's like a giant dragon fruit. It's a 4-hour walk to the pod prison, and the adventure gives you some random encounters that you can throw at your players. There's strange things like green tiger-striped pigs, arachnid monsters that can yank people up into their nets, and even a madman that is left over from the last expedition the lady in blue sent here. Random encounters are fun, and you can just roll on a table, but I like to combine them. Like the last time that I ran this adventure, I had one of those surviving madmen spying on the PCs as they walked through the forest. They saw him and they subdued him, they tied him up with rope, and he was insane and was hostile at first, but eventually he told them that he was kicked out of the prison by another group of survivors, and he has a hidden cache of supplies somewhere here in the woods. Naturally, the PCs demanded that he take them to his supplies, and on the way there, whether it's a trap that he's setting or just randomness, I attack the PCs by some of the dimension's weird creatures like those chaos pigs or those spiders. Like your choice which ones, it doesn't matter. But this is a fun way to add some narrative and interaction into the adventure, and again, more decision making for the PCs on the way to the prison. Eventually, the PCs enter the prison. It's a massive single-roomed affair. Far above them in this huge hall, 300 feet up, is a cage dangling from a branch. And that's clearly where dresa is being held captive. And on the floor of this huge room is the enormous, sleeping 100-foot tall Titan. In a clever twist, the Titan actually isn't a big threat in this adventure. He's been put to sleep by some magic and is having wonderful dreams about being a conqueror and destroying the world. And if the PCs wake him up through noise or actions, well, he'll definitely stomp a PC or eat one of them, but then he'll angrily go back to sleep. His presence is just really fun because he adds so much tension to this entire adventure, because the PCs will know that if he truly wakes up, he's just going to eat them all. The PCs can find a secret door in the hall because there's no obvious way up to that cage. And I always place the secret door like near the Titan. Maybe he's like sleeping against the wall, and they'll find the door, and it forces them to stealth on over and squeeze behind him and get to it.
Excuse me, coming through. Secret door right behind me.
And here behind the wall is a passage that will ascend upwards in the prison. Now, the other big danger in this prison is the warden, a bizarre, homicidal, living jack-o'-lantern demon named Cur Maxima. She's always watching the PCs and loves toying with them. She lurks above doors and she slips in and out of the walls, attacking one PC at a time. I like to roleplay her as this crazy demon who loves to taunt, mock, and just terrorize the PCs. Yes, she will sneak up on them, but she'll also gonna call out to them, her voice echoing over the walls at constant times. She's gonna declare who she's gonna eat next, or she's gonna even say where she is, chasing the players in another direction and then lying to them. I have her be extremely creative with the corpses after she kills somebody, like using them as puppets or purposely throwing them at the Titan to wake him up. Using Cur Maxima the right way is a crucial part of this adventure. She ups the danger level and the tension considerably, but you can't just have her like roll out and attack the party, or else you'll have an instant TPK. She's got 57 hit points and 2 attacks per turn for 2d6 plus 1 damage, so one hit's just gonna squish a PC. So you can see how she can just instantly wipe out 20 or so 0 levels fast. So use her as an enemy that has a big personality that hit and runs, and someone who's always listening and quick to mock them any chance that she gets. She's really fun to roleplay, and take your time and think about how you're going to use her. The hidden passage is basically a one-way tunnel that goes all the way up the prison. There's some simple traps like deadfalls and some nooks and crannies for Cur Maxima to hide in. There's also a secret treasure room that gives the PCs a chance to re-equip themselves, and it also features a spear that's designed to kill the Titan. It even says it on the spear itself. Although that Titan is so strong that even with that spear, a 0-level PC who challenges the Titan is 99% likely to just get eaten alive.
Titan, it is thy end, for I carry the spear that was crafted to slay you. Prepare for your doom!
Yeah, someone always seems to get overconfident with that spear. The most interesting part of the tunnel are the encounters with the survivors from the last expedition. There are 2 groups of them. One is filled with desperate men who have been trapped here for months. They're led by an angry dwarf named Carlos. Then the second group of survivors are the abandoned ones. These are some of the survivors that have gotten so crazy and have been affected by this weird dimension, exposed to its radiation or whatever, that they're slowly turning into plant monsters. I kind of think of this situation as like one of those scenarios from The Walking Dead where the survivors are holed up in one place, really unable to go anywhere because they have Cur Maxima terrorizing them, and they have the abandoned ones not too far from them. They've barricaded themselves in. They have to draw lots every few days to see who's going to be sent out of the prison to go hunt and find some supplies. And whenever one of these survivors starts to go crazy and mutate, they get kicked out. So when the PCs show up, Carlos the dwarf is like, you got to join us or you're going to die. And this approach gives the PCs a decision to make. Do they trust these survivors? Do they join them or lie and say they're going to join them? Or can they convince the survivors to help on their mission? Or do they just end up killing these survivors because they're dangerous and a little crazy, and because this passage that they're in is effectively one way, and it obviously will block their only escape route once they get up to the cage and they want to get out? I've even had a group once take pity on the abandoned ones and convince some of them to join the party, which of course was a terrible idea because one of them finally mutated into that giant plant monster and attacked the PCs. I don't know why they decided that was a good idea, but it was fun. Eventually, the PCs reach the top of the prison and they have to tightrope out on that branch to get to the cage to free Dresa. She's this wretched looking green-skinned woman that surely the PCs will take pity on, and she'll just beg them to free her. Climbing out on the branch is intended to be a dangerous feat. One wrong move and they'll tumble on top of that sleeping titan. But again, if the PCs were smart enough to bring rope, it's a fairly straightforward thing to crawl out on the cage and open it. Once free, Dresa regains her vitality and shows herself to be this winged devil, and she happily soars around the prison, getting revenge on anyone she doesn't like. Maxima, she'll destroy that plant monster and the Titan, and maybe even the cowardly survivors that just didn't rescue her fast enough. She's this being of chaos that the GM can kind of use as they want, but she's not intended to be an enemy. She's just happy to destroy the entire prison. With Dresa freed, the prison begins to crumble and the PCs must race for the portal to escape. Back in their homeland, the Lady in Blue follows through with her promise and lets each survivor spin on the Wheel of Destiny. And this is a fun final chapter, with each PC making a luck roll modified by various things that happen in the adventure, and the results can be pretty dramatic. History can be rewritten with dead characters returning back to life, or live characters having died in the past. Characters can change dramatically, their appearance or age changes, or humans can become elves, like almost anything. There's nothing crazy stat-wise that this wheel will give characters. It's mostly more narrative fun. And if your characters roll well, they'll get a nice but not overpowered boost, and they'll level all the way up to level 1. And that's Hole in the Sky. So what do I think? I think it's great, and it's among my favorite funnels. I like that it kicks off a campaign in a unique way, with the players getting to interact with demons and other dimensions. I've also enjoyed running this adventure at conventions as a one-shot, since it really showcases the weirdness of Dungeon Crawl Classics, and it has a good mix of combat, fun role-playing encounters with often crazy NPCs, and there's lots of surprises in it. I like that it kills off the players at an even pace. When I just last ran it a few weeks ago, we had 24 characters going in, and we finished it in about 3 hours with 9 survivors. And you had an even amount of killing along the way. It wasn't just all saved up for the end, which is really fun. I also like that this adventure gives the GM some flexibility. Like, how do you use Maxima to terrorize your players? How do you insert some fun encounters on the way to the prison? Do you want more combat, or do you want some more role-playing encounters or traps? It includes options for all of that. And how do you role-play those survivors? Do you just make them tough and evil, or do you make them scared and desperate? Like, you can really craft this adventure to be your own, or to be something your players will really enjoy. My only real criticism of this adventure is that it is pretty linear. The invisible bridge, well, it's very linear. It's like literally one way, which is why I add that encounter with the sinking ship. And the stairs up the prison are also one way, which is why I add some variability with what to do with the survivors. But while I wish there were a few branches here and there, for a short funnel adventure, it works well enough. I'll also point out that because of the verticality of this adventure, especially the part in the prison, it is tricky to run Hole in the Sky over virtual tabletop. I've searched for some fan-made maps to make it a little bit easier, but I just haven't been able to find any. So if you know of any, let me know in the comments below. Oh, and one more thing. Because good rope is so useful in this adventure, and it can even let the players bypass some of its challenges, I say that the rope that's available to buy in that fishing village is fairly cheap rope. And anytime it's used roughly, like maybe saving a PC from death or being swung on it, there's a chance of it fraying. Like, I roll a dice, a 1 in 6 chance it either frays or breaks. This way, the players can't always count on their rope to be a solution to everything, so give that a try. But in the end, if you're looking for a well-paced, weird, and dangerous funnel adventure, Hole in the Sky delivers. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more Dungeon Crawl Classics reviews and tips like this one, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon. And if you've played or GM'd Hole in the Sky, I'd love to know how it went for your group, especially if there were any fun creative deaths. You have to share those. I love those the best. Until next time, I'm JC. And just remember, if you find yourself on a mission from a blue lady holding severed heads, and now you're in an extra-dimensional prison dangling 300 feet above a sleeping titan, you should probably rethink your life's choices.
All in the sky, abyss of the unknown, radiant blue space, a chilling tone. Visible brings to a prison ball.